to be back. As y'all can see, y'all can tell by the title, we are looking at the Bleacher Report rankings for the greatest active NBA players with no rings. And let's just dive into it right now, alright? Got two right here. Let me read this up a little bit. They're not talking about players right now, they're talking about in the grand scheme of things. Alright, so let's get into it. 10, Blake Griffin. Ooh, okay. I think Blake Griffin is slightly underrated at this point because obviously all the injuries he's had, obviously the Clippers disappointed in the playoffs multiple years in a row, right? And gets traded to the Pistons. I just feel like he's just been a little bit underappreciated. I don't know if I'm just overrating him myself or what, but just let me know if you think Blake Griffin might be a little like underappreciated a little bit. Like the fact that Clippers team never made a finals appearance, especially in 2015. I thought that was their year. You know what I'm saying? The Warriors' first year, of course. You had OKC. OKC was out the picture. San Antonio was slowing up a little bit. That was the Clippers' perfect time. Then they blew the 3-1 lead to Houston, man. That was their opportunity that they blew, man. I'm pretty sure we'll get to Chris Paul in a minute. 9, Dame. Dame, all I have to say is, man, just get out of Portland. Get out of Portland immediately. I don't care, like, if you just want to be loyal to them, bro. Like, if you want a ring, leave them. I'm not saying join a super team. I'm not saying that. All right. There was actually a report that came out that said if Dame was to request a trade, it'd be to the Lakers or the Knicks. You know what I mean? Best team in the league and worst team in the league, right? Like, I don't know what he's trying to do, but New York City, great place to go. But New York City, the Knicks haven't signed a big free agent in a while. All right. Besides Dame's 2 buzzer beaters against OKC and then early in his career against Houston, like Dame hasn't, to me, he hasn't really been that great in the playoffs. Obviously in 2017, Jrue Holiday just absolutely handled him, and you know, after the OKC series, he struggled a lot against the Nuggets and then against the Warriors. So I don't know. With Dame, it's like I don't know. He just needs to he needs a new change of scenery. I think that's the first step. Anthony Davis. Well, he's likely getting one this year, right? I still got the Clippers, but Anthony Davis is probably the closest player on this list to winning a ring, right? And this is really Anthony Davis' first real shot at a title. So let's see what he can do in the playoffs. Hopefully he stays healthy. You know, Anthony Davis has an injury history, but hopefully he can stay healthy. A very controversial one, Melo. So Melo, he was on the Nuggets for 7-8 years, couldn't win the ring, went to the conference finals in 2009, right? Then demanded the trade to New York, where he's from. And it just seems like Melo, he never wanted to win as bad as he wanted the money. You know what I'm saying? If he wanted to win as bad as he wanted the money, he would have left New York and went to Chicago in 2014 and teamed up with Rose and Butler and them and Noah and all them. But he declined that. So, you know, Melo, he's just a guy that, I don't know. He's a very polarizing dude. You either love Melo or you just hate him, you know. Obviously OKC didn't work out, Houston didn't work out. It's sad to see like one of the best scorers in NBA history, you know, one of the most purest basketball players, you know, in league history, and he's gonna end up without a ring. Look here, he's only advanced past the first round twice in his career. That's Melo, man. I don't even know what to say. Now, this is a very controversial one. Paul George should not be above Melo. Paul George should not be above, who else should not be above? Anthony Davis, he shouldn't be above, maybe Dame. He shouldn't be above those 2 guys I just named, though. As we know, playoff P likes to disappoint in the playoffs a lot. So, me being an OKC fan from last year, this was tough to see. It was tough, man. After the great regular season Paul George had, he comes up. He was injured, I know that, but he still wasn't good in the playoffs. He wasn't good in 2018 either. Scoring, what was it? 6 points in the elimination game versus the Jazz. What are you doing, bro? Man. But like Anthony Davis, Paul George has the opportunity to take his name off this list with a ring this year. You know, if he shows up in the playoffs for once, that's a big thing. If he wants to show up in the playoffs, I think the Clippers will win it. But if he doesn't show up in the playoffs, they won't win it. Infamously known for, you know, choking in playoffs. 5, we got Giannis, another guy that can take his name off this list, man. He's probably been the most dominant player over the past 2 years, him and Harden, right? And he's looking for a title this year. Will he get a ring? I think his name is still going to be on this list by the time the season's over. I just don't see that. To be honest, man, I won't see him winning a ring in Milwaukee. I just can't, man. Unless they end up flipping Middleton and Bledsoe for another superstar, then we talking. But other than that, nah. And I think I see him leaving Milwaukee in 2021. So yeah, hopefully he goes to the Raptors though. 4, Dwight Howard. So Dwight Howard gets so much hate. Okay, now I'm not talking about the other stuff that he, you know what I mean, wants to do in his free time. All right, but I'm talking about on the court. As soon as he left Orlando, he wasn't good. He went to the Lakers. That didn't work out. He got into it with Kobe. He got into it with Steve Nash. Okay, and he went to Houston. Got into it with James Harden. Okay, and then he was on a couple bad teams, Hawks, Wizards, all that stuff. Kind of forgot about Hornets. We kind of forgot about him a little bit, right? But Dwight Howard can potentially take his name off this list. You know what I'm saying? By winning a ring. People forget how dominant Dwight Howard really was in his prime. People really forget how dominant he was. The best big man in the league for years. People just forget about that. Like, as soon as he went bad on the Lakers, like, it's like he was bad all along. Like, no, like, he was. Look, it even says right here. So you'd be quickly reminded how dominant Dwight Howard was in the 2000s and early 2010s. He took he was the best player on the finals team. If it wasn't for Kobe, they would have won the title. Think about that. That's why he's so high on this list. 3, my guy, Russ Westbrook, man. Can I just see my boy win a ring? Just one ring, bro? I'm not asking for a 3-peat, just one ring, man. Can I get one ring from Russ? Please? Like, before his career's over, man? Obviously, Westbrook, another guy that has a whole bunch of playoff disappointments. You know, haven't got out the first round ever since KD left. We get all that, man. We get all that, and a lot of people want to blame it on him, but it's not really all on him. Like I mentioned earlier, Paul George and Melo scored a combined 12 points in a elimination game, while Russ scored 46. I don't care what percentage he shot. I don't care how many times he shot. He scored 46 points in an elimination game on the road, and PG and Melo had a combined 12 points. You can't blame him. And in 2017, you didn't expect him to get nowhere, right? He was playing with nobody, all right? He was playing with no shooters. So, with Russ, man, obviously last year, that was a pretty bad one. You know, Dame ended in bad. James Harden. So, like I just said, a lot of polarizing players on this list. You either love James Harden or you hate him, you know? Travel, step backs, crying for fouls, all that stuff, right? Flopping, all that stuff. Will Harden win the ring the way that he's playing, the way that he plays? ISO step back game, the finessing for fouls. Can he win the ring like that? I don't think so. Me personally, I just don't think he could, but I may be wrong. Hopefully I am wrong. But James Harden has had his opportunities to win the ring, guys. Let's not act like he didn't have the opportunities. In 2018, the Rockets missed 27 straight threes in Game 7. And they lost by 9 points without Chris Paul. They should have won that game without Chris Paul. They missed 27 straight threes. Harden, you got to take over. Speaking of taking over, he failed to take over in 2019 as well. Once KD went out in Game 6 at home. Game 7 at 2018 was at home. Game 6 in 2019 was at home. Couldn't get a job done. Steph Curry got the job done. He scored 33 points in the second half after scoring 0 in the first. He got the job done. Harden couldn't get the job done with no KD, and he had Chris Paul at that time. So Harden has had his opportunities, but I don't think he can win a ring with his play style, with his isolation ball, with his step backs. Because in the playoffs, you will go on some cold stretches. It's just inevitable. You know what I mean? And how willing is Harden to change up his game? Obviously not very willing to, right? Chris Paul, last but not least, I feel like he's been very underrated, like for a career. You know what I mean? At least from my point of view, I've like underestimated Chris Paul. His impact is huge, as y'all can see this year at OKC, man. And I mean, he's one of the top point guards of all time. Like, what more can you say? Like, he did have his opportunities in the playoffs as well. You know what I mean? Choked in 2014 against OKC in that game. Game 4, I believe. He choked in that game. 2015, they're up 3-1 on Houston. They blew that lead. People were healthy still then, right? And that was the Clippers' year to go to the finals. Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Jamal Crawford, JJ Redick, Doc Rivers is your coach. That was Warriors' first year. They were puppies. I think the Clippers would have beat them. And guess who the Clippers would have played in the finals? LeBron, and only LeBron. Well, LeBron and Timothy Mozgov and Iman Shumpert and Matthew Dellavedova. Clippers would have won that one, but like obviously all the injury stuff as well has happened with Chris Paul 2018 as well. You know, if he played, I think they would have pulled it out probably. Looking back on it, so he's had his opportunities, but he's also had bad luck. So I mean, it just sucks, but Chris Paul, one of the best point guards of not just this generation, but of all time. So hopefully he wins the ring. But I'm just go do a quick run through of these guys, and I'll tell you if they'll win the ring or not. Will Chris Paul win the ring? No, unless he leeches onto the Lakers or something like that, right? Can I see Harden winning the ring? No, just because his style of play, man, it just won't get the job done. It won't get the job done. Is he gonna be able to produce at a high level, efficiency? I don't know. Speaking of efficiency, Russ is not very efficient. Even though he's been pretty efficient this year, he has to stop shooting the threes, obviously. And I don't think he'll win the ring either. So, just because his style of play as well is very erratic, very up and down, to say the least. And I just don't see that winning a ring, man. You got to be steady. You got to have a steady hand. And Russ is definitely not that, man. I love Russ, but hopefully he wins the ring, but I just don't see it. So that's 3 no's so far. Dwight Howard, will he win the ring? Obviously, his best opportunities right now with the Lakers. But I think the Clippers will win the ring. And I don't even think LeBron will win another ring before he retires. So Dwight Howard, nah, I just don't see him winning a ring. Giannis, I do see him winning a ring. However, he needs to get out of Milwaukee because I don't think he'll win the ring in Milwaukee. Hopefully he goes to Toronto. You know, hopefully not Golden State. Just don't even put the idea in my head. Golden State, no, please. Obviously he's gonna win a ring there, but do we want that? No, we don't want that. All right, Giannis. Paul George, yes, he'll win the ring. I think the Clippers will win the ring, win the title this year. So, yeah, Paul George. Hopefully he steps up though. They only win it if Paul George steps up. If Paul George plays how he plays in the regular season, in the playoffs, you know what I mean? Playoff P. Will Melo win the ring? No, he just never wanted it bad enough. He chased the bag over the success, over the ring. So it sucks, but hey, that's what he did. But he had an opportunity. Will Anthony Davis win the ring? Yes, Anthony Davis will win the ring. Not this year though. Maybe once LeBron retires and he stays in LA for a little bit and he brings on another superstar. You know what I mean? I feel like they're gonna get Trae Young to pair with Anthony Davis in LA, or they're gonna get like Damian Lillard to pair with Anthony Davis once LeBron retires. You know, so will Dame win the ring? I'll say yes. If he gets traded to like the Lakers or something like that, eventually, yeah, he will. If he stays in Portland, no, he won't. If he goes to the Knicks, like reportedly, that's one of the teams he would like to go to if he does move on from Portland. No, he won't win the ring there. But I think Dame would do the right thing and go to LA or something like that. So I'll say yeah, he'll win the ring. Will Blake Griffin win the ring? No, I think that time's up for him, man. I just don't see him being a guy that can really be on the championship team as the second or third best player. I just really can't. Maybe it's his play style is it's a little awkward. It's kind of weird, to be honest with you. So I'll just keep that at that. Let me know your top 10 players, active players with no ring, and yeah, that's pretty much all I got for y'all.